Northern Kentucky Magazine, October 1st, 2007. Nancy James and Pat Crowley, promoting Sigra Gallery Show.
Welcome back to Northern Kentucky Magazine on ICN 6. For years, students at the University of Cincinnati have depended on Tom Newbold to help direct them when it comes to co-oping and all the different studies that go on in the business department. But there's a little more that's beneath the surface, and only Dr. X could be the person who could point that out. He joins us today in the person of Dr. X. Tom Newbold joins us because under the surface, you're an artist.
That's true. Who knew? A mild-mannered professor by day and a deranged artistic person. That's it. You've got it.
You know, only Sandy McGowan and I would get into this discussion, and she said X-ray art, and I said, every time that you look at a person, we see them from the outside. We see the color of their skin, we see their gender, we see their age, we see lots of things about a person. But underneath, we are all exactly the same, and that's exactly what your art demonstrates.
That's one of the things I try to get across is if you look at an X-ray, you cannot tell a lot of times whether it's a man or a woman, if the person's good or bad, rich or poor, Republican, Democrat, whatever. And this way, it's pointing out that just below the surface, there's a whole world that we can't see unless we use X-rays, and X-ray is the medium I use to try to get that message across to people.
You've been doing this for 15 years, and your work has been in places like the Contemporary Arts Center and York Street Cafe, the art gallery there, and different. I mean, Bangor, Maine. You're big in Bangor, Maine.
I am. As a matter of fact, Stephen King, you know, the author, has one of my pieces of artwork because he lives in Bangor, Maine, which I didn't have any idea. Now, he didn't come in while I had the show that was up there, but he came in afterwards because I left a few pieces, you know, to still be up there. So he has one called Smirk, which is a bunch of X-rays of teeth that are kind of looking in a demented way, and sort of, which is something I guess that would appeal to a person like him.
What type? Demented is the word. What type of things do you X-ray besides the human body?
Well, no, I don't actually do these X-rays myself. I get them from doctors. I get them from vets. So I have dog X-rays and animal X. I'd love to get one of like an elephant or a giraffe.
Sure.
Can you imagine a giraffe's neck? What that would look like?
Oh, yes.
And different things like that. And I even have some that are, I had a friend of mine who had an X-ray machine, and we did seashells. And seashells look really great. In fact, we're going to see one here in a few minutes on seashells. But most of them come from doctors. And, you know, like when I'm eating dinner sometimes, I've had the waiter or waitress go, hey, you know, I broke my arm last week. Wait a minute, I'll be right back. And they come back and they hand me an X-ray of their broken arm. And they say, can you use this? And I go, well, I'll see, you know, possibly I could use it in a show.
I could make you the subject of my next piece of art. Well, you'll be at Sigra Gallery starting this weekend?
That's right. It starts October 5th, which is this Friday. It's the first Friday of the month, so a lot of the galleries up and along that area are going to have the first Friday. They're going to have an event where they have a lot of exhibitions, and I'm going to have my art opening then. It's going to be from 6 to 10 o'clock. I'd like to invite everybody in the viewing audience to come out and see it. We're going to have snacks and champagne, and you get to see the artwork, and it'll be a big party. The last time I had an opening, there were over 200 people at it, so there'll be a lot of people there. It'll be a lot of excitement. I think it should be a lot of fun, especially for people that don't go to these things very often. This will be something new for them.
And we'll be showing a little bit of that in just a minute.
Yes.
If I could digress for a second, I know you are a part of a group of people who really believe heavily in the importance of media history.
Yes.
And at Voice America, you are really installing a wealth of all that history. Tell me a little bit about that, Tom.
All right. Media Heritage has a space there at the Voice of America, you know, which used to be where they broadcast all over Europe and all that type of thing. We're going to open a museum there to preserve the radio and media history, a lot of TV shows, things like that. So what we're doing now is we're collecting all of those types of things. We've got the Fred Ziv collection. He was one of the first pioneers in doing franchising and that type of thing, and doing local shows, you know, and that type. And he had shows like Sea Hunt. I don't remember if you remember Sea Hunt.
Oh, I remember the music.
The Cisco Kid.
Oh my God.
And shows like that. So when those originally got started in syndication, that's a term I should have used, syndication, he was one of the leaders in that. And they've got a lot of his episodes, transcripts, posters, all sorts of different types of things. And we're collecting those because, you know, like Uncle Al and,
Sure,
and
Ruth
Ruth Lyons, WLW, KRC, you know, CPO. With all those different shows, we're collecting those plus all the radio shows from the era, and we're collecting those in one place. And New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles have museums of broadcasting or TV related, and we're going to have one here in Cincinnati, and it's still a few years away before it's going to. Well, right now it's open to the public occasionally on the weekend and that type of thing, but it's going to be open 365 days a year, and it'll be something to preserve the history because. I don't know if you know this, but at one time, Cincinnati had more TV stations than New York City had TV stations in the beginning. And we're one of the real pioneers of live TV here. Well, you know, because you were on the shows.
Yes.
And we're looking to preserve that type of history at Media Heritage and the Voice of America Museum.
Well, it took an educator. I mean, it took someone like you with that love of theater, that love of history, that love of being able to educate our public and preserve that history. And I personally am so grateful that you all are doing that. And we'll have to have you back and talk more about that. But we're going to break for commercial. When we return, we're going to see actually the work of Dr. X.
Oh, Dr. X, yes.
In the real person when we return right here to Northern Kentucky Magazine, ICN 6. Don't go away. Welcome back to Northern Kentucky Magazine on ICN 6, where we're joined by Tom Newbold, also known as Dr. X, who gets just below the surface, especially this weekend as he opens at the Sigra Gallery. And Pat joins us to talk about, you know, there is more happening in Bellevue than you can even imagine.
Tom, it's amazing, isn't it, what the investment is going on and the way that the investment is taking advantage of those beautiful old buildings down there?
Especially Fairfield Avenue in Bellevue is an area that's really coming up. The condos are coming up. You know, some of them are multi-million-dollar condos that are going up there, and that whole area of Fairfield Avenue is really becoming, it used to be Mount Adams, and then it was Main Street, and I think that's the next big area that's going to be hot for people coming to art galleries and bars and restaurants and things like that, because it's going to be the next area that's going to be very famous, I think, in Cincinnati.
It really is. And they've been working on it off and on for 20 years down there, so it's good to see it come to fruition with some pioneers like you who are putting galleries and other businesses down there.
Yeah, there's a couple other galleries that are going in.
David O'Hara?
Yeah, David O'Hara is one. Yes, yeah, he has a gallery down there, and the first Friday they have an art gallery where people can go around to the different art galleries and see the openings. So that's what's coming up this weekend. So it should be a lot of fun for everybody.
Well, we want people to stick, you know, to get to Sigra Gallery because there'll be champagne and goodies and and lots of artwork that it's hot to try. What are we seeing right here?
Sand dollars on parade. It's an X-ray of sand dollars. So a lot of times you can't see inside a sand dollar as to what the insides of it look like, the intricacies of it. And when you look at these, now this is a seashell here, but these are sand dollars over here. You see the inside of it and what it looks like. And what I've done is I've put behind them different colored gels. And here's an example of a green gel, and here's an example of a red gel. They use these in theaters and things like that to put over lights to create effects. But the light can actually go through them, so I put them behind these different things to make them stand out, because most people think of X-rays, they think of black and white and gray, and I like to add color to them to add a whole different dimension to them.
Can you customize, if someone would like something to go into their home and they need red, can you customize that for that person?
Oh yeah, of course I can do that, and they can come in different sizes. Most light boxes are 17 by 14, but I have some custom-made ones that are wood, that are made out of wood, that are special for each of my different designs. So yeah, they can be made big, small, whatever you want as far as that goes.
What are we seeing over by Pat there? That's a little different.
Okay, this is called post-operative celebration.
Okay.
And there's X-rays here, and there's different colored gels, like this one right here, that are put over it. And this is actually a zipper that goes around it. And then I threw confetti over it because, you know, after an operation, this is a successful operation. So that's why I did this one. And then I put it on a light box, and then I took a picture of it, and that's what I have framed here in this. Because some of the pieces, most of them are light boxes like this, but some of them are framed like this, because some people don't want to have something that they have to plug in every time they want to turn it on, you know, or something like that.
What if one of your students are out there right now? How can they possibly take you serious at a conference dressed as you are?
You know, most of them have never seen me like this, so I think it would be a revelation to them that My God, really? I do have some of these up in my office, though, so maybe it gives them a little bit of an indication that maybe I'm into a few other things besides just co-op at UC as far as that goes.
The other side, the flip side of
The
Tom
flip
Newbold.
side, yes, it's kind of like a schizophrenic personality or whatever as far as that goes. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
And Tom, what gallery are you going to be in?
The Sigra Gallery. Now, the Sigra Gallery is located on Fairfield Avenue, and if you're familiar with Bellevue, Kentucky at all, you know where the Party Source is. Most people know where that is.
Everybody knows where the party is.
Party Source, right across the street and down about 2 blocks away from Newport on the Levee, because Newport on the Levee is right down there also. So it's just located a few blocks from Newport on the Levee. It's going to be this Friday, October 5th from 6 to 10 o'clock. We're going to have snacks, we're going to have champagne, there's going to be a lot of people there. And it's not just my show. My show takes up 3 of the rooms, but several of the other rooms are going to be taken up by Jason Hargis, who owns the gallery. He's got some of his works up there also, so people can see a variety of different things. It's not just my work that's going to be there.
At a gallery, is this purchasable, or is this just for, enlightenment?
Oh, for you a special price, of course. We'll have a special price. But most of them sell that are this size for $1,000 for the light box, and most of them that are this size sell for $400 for the print or the framed version of it.
Do you have physicians that are mavens of your work and like this? I would
yes, I do
gravitate.
Yes, I do have a few physicians, but they always tell me, they go, well, that x-ray's upside down and backwards, and you've got it all wrong. And I go, well, no, it's not wrong. This is the artistic way to look at it, which may be different from the way that a regular doctor would look at it. Sometimes doctors, they're either the worst or the best as far as liking it, because they're either so critical. They go, now, is that a broken pelvis, or what is that, a femur? And I go, I don't know what that is. I don't even care what it is.
It's a dog.
It's whatever it is. Yeah, it's just whatever it is. So they're either the best or the worst people as far as looking at
You mentioned a dog. I think you have a dog on one of your slides here.
Yes. Yes, we do have one right here, which is doggy dog, just to show that we don't always have humans. And this part right here, I don't know if they can see that, is a glove, because they have to put it on a glove to hold the animals down sometimes, and you don't want to get your hand x-rayed, so they put that in, and these are actually tongs that they're opening the dog's mouth with. So we have different kinds of x-rays. They're not always of human beings, because we've got, like this type of thing, and we've also got them, but of different things where I have x-rays of machines and things like that also. So there are a variety of different things in these x-rays, but I would say a majority of them actually are human beings. Although MRIs and things like that, I remember once I had an MRI and a person came up to me and goes, well, this is obviously an anti-abortion thing, and this is just showing fetuses and how much you love life. And I go, well, not exactly. That's actually an ankle, But if you want to, but the great thing about abstract art is you can take any message out of it you want to get. So they can, the pro ankle movement. Yeah, they probably like that one as far as that goes.
Well, we're going to welcome you to the opening reception party that takes place this Friday at Sigra Gallery. You will see just beneath the surface of Dr. X all of his imaginative X-rays of taking place, and you can identify what part it is. But we'll let you do that when you get there. Champagne and all kinds of goodies, thanks to Tom Newbold and in the person of Dr. X. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. It's great.
Going to be back with more when we return to Northern Kentucky Magazine right here on ICN 6.